All right, so here we go, guys, with the 3-5 and the 3-6 on the cross of Eden, the 3-5. The real beauty is when you get to the third line. I love this third line. It's the line of the realist. This is one of the essential values, one of the genuine attributes of the third line. The acknowledgement that ideas, peace is transitory. Ideas come and go. Also, a pleasure that ideas have no real application. What's so interesting is that there's a genuine recognition of whether the idea itself has value or not, but no capacity still to know who should get what. It's a real dilemma for the lower trigram. It's so many gates where the real principle is collective. If you look at the lower trigram and all the collective gates, you've got a problem. If you look at the lower trigram in the tribal gates, you have a problem because they don't really understand what happens in relationship to the other. And of course, there's always consequences. The 11th gate, a third line, a realist, recognizes the value of an idea but doesn't know who will share that recognition. So often the third line will say something and it ends up being sarcasm. The fact is that the other doesn't get it and takes it the wrong way. This is the great double entendre line, a double meaning. The third line has this terrible problem that it doesn't know how to align itself with other forces. Ideas don't work any better than making children work when you're doing it alone. This is one of the essential things to understand about the conceptual mind, whether that is logic, mind through the 1740-62, or the abstract mind through the 1156. There's no value in any of this unless it can be shared, and it's very sharing that substantiates its value, particularly in the abstract. Remember that the abstract is much more subjective than the logic. The logic had a pretense of objectivity. In in may in fact turn out it may in fact turn out to be subjective. We don't know, you have to investigate. But its tendency is to be more objective, whereas the tendency in the abstract is to be more subjective. So ideas are very personal, and in order for an idea to have collective value, it has to be received. Every person who has the 11 gate can be made incredibly uncomfortable by anyone rejecting, not understanding, not being able to make sense of, and not acknowledging the value of an idea. You have these 11s all the time saying, I've got this great idea. And you're going, oh, yeah, really? Oh, they suffer. Yeah, I suffer a lot. The whole point for them is that if you don't operate correctly, if you're not going to know when, remember we started with the foundation being serendipity, right time, right time, right time. Otherwise, ideas don't work. As a manifester, I learned a long time ago that you have to pit the timing to inform people. If the timing is right, I learned a long time that you have to pit the timing to inform the pit. I don't know what pit is anyway. This is the other side of not being a generator or a projector or a reflector. Manifestors have to be very careful about timing. If the timing isn't right, oh, the consequences are awful. It's the same thing with ideas, timing. And of course, timing isn't something that you can establish yourself. Timing is just a matter of being in the flow, it's a matter of operating correctly. One of the real things about following your strategy is that it aligns you to your timing. So the realist is the 3-5 ideas come and go. And this is one of the dilemmas. Here's the opportunity to have a really great mind, at least a great idea mind, a universalizing mind, a mind that can go through the third line experience of recognizing what ideas are of value, what ideas are not of value. And of such, this can be an enormous importance to humanity. But again, 3-5 lose their potential very early in life because of their upbringing. And not all of them are going to get a chance later in life to learn about themselves in this context and begin to understand that process. Most 3-5s go through their life living out the conditioning that was established in their first 7 years. A conditioning that says for every mistake you make, are very responsible, personally held responsible. The other threes in this game, the 3-6 and 6-3s, don't have that in the same way. There's not this brand that's put onto you when you make a mistake, but the 3-5 is branded for life. So you have a 3-5 on the cross of Eden that comes up with some cockamania idea that they put out in the wrong time when they are 6 years old. I think it's a great idea to burn down the house and we collect the insurance, mom. And then there's this immediately he's mad, he's crazy. Give him Ritalin. The reputation of that being is immediately destroyed. It's not the idea that loses value, it's the being that loses its value. This is what's frightening for 3-5s. If a 1-3 makes a mistake, it's like, okay, this thing doesn't work. The 3-5s make exactly the same mistake and it's your fault. Yes, yes, even though it was bad, you should have known better. We expect you know better. The projection of the fifth line. So when an idea comes out in a 3-5's mouth and the idea is a lousy idea, it's not the idea that's command, it's them. Then we lose the potential of those that percepts can teach us from the past, from the perspective and reflection upon the past. Then we go to the 3-6. The 3-6. The 3-6, like all 3-6, if they can get through the early part of life, they have tremendous potential. This is the dilemma always of the 28 years. To be a 3-3, there's not to get their ideas right. But at the same time, if the child is raised to understand the potency of the third line, that is, the potency of being able to be penetrate experience and learn from one's mistakes, then the 3-3 in this context can learn more about bad ideas than just about anybody else. When you're dealing with the 3-6, they don't carry the same burden as the 3-5. They're carrying the burden that a bad idea brands them for life as a bad person, that a stupid idea brands them for life as a stupid person. With the 3-3, the real advantage is that they can discern all the bad ideas, really discern literally all those bad ideas. It's a deeply, deeply pessimistic perspective. The 3-3 is very different from the 6-3. Remember that the 6-3 is the 6 on the personality side. So who you think they are will escape pessimism, not completely, but mostly. They were able to go to the other side. They were able to go to the optimism, who they think they are. But the 3-6 never gets that advantage. They have a pessimistic personality all their life. So they need to be very clearly. If they're not trained properly, educated properly, they then they're never going to be the kind of people or being you see somebody who's on this cross with the 3-6 configuration, and you're going to see somebody who will not tell you their ideas because they're convinced every idea is a bad idea. Do you know any 3-6s in your life? Can be interesting to check them out. By the time they get up on the roof and they have been able to see that their gift is that they are great analytical minds, the kind of analytical mind that would be very impressive to anyone if you could see it work. This is the kind of mind where you look at any reference point, any historical point, any kind of thing that's already been laid out, and then we'll penetrate them immediately to where the problems are, where the mistakes are. This is a very good analytical mind. If they get under the roof, and this is where there begins to a balance that comes into their physical body, the frequency begins to calm down. Then they can begin to step into the possibilities of really being able to see that there are certain ideas that are truly of value. But more importantly, what's really of value is to tell people about the ideas that are not good, that are not healthy. We can dream for that one, So really to share you what doesn't work. It's 3-6. This is your job. You can help a lot of people not make those same mistakes. All right.